Let's start off by talking about the quarterback position. Who should we be starting this week? I noticed on your list, there's someone that could even still be available on a lot of waiver wires.
Yeah, and that's Cam Newton, right? He was available in about half of leagues on Yahoo going into the week. And I'm thankful that he went back to Carolina because he's been very good. 5 touchdowns in his first 2 games. And one of those games, he wasn't even the starter. This week, he's got the Dolphins. They've allowed the 5th most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. So Cam Newton is a top 10 play. I also like Kirk Cousins. Admittedly, I was dead wrong about him last week. He had a huge game against the Green Bay Packers. I would play him as a low QB1 this week against the 49ers. Their defense has allowed the 9th most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks, including 6 who have scored 19 plus. I think this could be a high scoring game. Kirk Cousins is a very nice option. I'm also starting Russell Wilson, yes, against Washington. I know there's risk reward there, but it is a great matchup. And Jimmy Garoppolo in multi-quarterback leagues is a good play against the Vikings.
Yeah, I actually told someone to start Kirk Cousins over Russell Wilson last week, and then I crossed my fingers, and thankfully that worked out for the both of us. I like Kirk Cousins as a start this week, and I'm going to start him in our SI Invitational League. As far as who we're sitting, who should we keep on the bench this week?
Ryan Tannehill needs to be on the sidelines. I mean, he's been a massive disappointment this year. He's averaging 16.2 fantasy points per game. That is not getting it done. And he's got the Patriots. Is there a hotter defense in the National Football League right now than New England? They have been bananas good. In fact, they've allowed the fewest fantasy points per game to quarterbacks at home. 5.5 points per game allowed. And that's not a misprint in Stardom and Sid'em. It's absolutely correct. So Tannehill is a fade. And so is Matt Ryan. I mean, you look at the numbers and he's been awful. And then you look at the matchup and you think, wait a minute. Well, he's playing the Jaguars. I mean, that's not a bad matchup. In fact, look at the numbers lately, all right? They have held starting quarterbacks to under 16 fantasy points in each of their last 4 games, including Josh Allen, who scored just 9.6 points against them in week 9. So Matt Ryan, find your way to the bench. I'm also sitting Carson Wentz and Ben Roethlisberger against the Cincinnati Bengals. He has a really bad statistical trend in Cincinnati.